Going on, everyone? Thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Retro Gamers, episode 77. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What's going on, Ant? How was your week?
I don't know, 77 episodes. I'm tired.
77 episodes. It's been a long time.
Yes, it's been very long. It was a very busy week. There was lots of work. Lots of meetings. Thursday and Friday, I had meetings for 8 hours straight, both days.
Ooh, wow, really?
Yeah, it's my job is starting to ramp up. Things are getting busy. Theme park stuff is coming along. So yeah, I've been in hell. How about you?
Work I actually can't complain about. Things are going good. And just in general, just kind of gearing up for the Royal Rumble, gearing up for the Super Bowl. But I kind of lost track as well myself because I went to, just to talk about how I lost track, I went to Raw 25 with the co-host of the Yin and Yang podcast, which you can listen to right here at the More of the Same Network, Anthony Chu. So we went to Raw. Yep, fun time. Thank goodness we went to the Brooklyn and not Manhattan. But we went to the Barclays. I was off the next day on Tuesday because there was no way I was getting up to go to work by the time I got home. And then that completely threw my week off. I didn't know what day of the week it was. I ordered this platter for a Super Bowl party I'm going to. And I'm like, I'm going to need it for this Sunday, the Super Bowl. And then they call me. The deli calls me, and they're like, do you want it for this Sunday or the Super Bowl? I'm like, yeah, this Sunday's Super Bowl, meaning... Well, the 27th, by the time you listened to this 2 days ago. So I'm like, yeah, this Sunday's Super Bowl. And like, I wasn't putting two and two together. And then someone messaged on Facebook, because I posted something on Facebook about Super Bowl. They're like, so what are you going to do this week? Next week's Super Bowl. I was like, oh, that's next week. My game was completely thrown off as to what was happening.
You're lucky they
called.
They called and corrected you because like any other I would think most businesses would be like, you know what, we don't care that you screwed up. You're gonna get your catering.
Listen, if that was the case, then I'd be having a giant cheese and cracker platter for tonight's Royal Rumble. So either way, win-win.
Yeah, very true.
So
yes, and I'm also planning on watching the Royal Rumble, so that should be fun.
Yeah, you get to watch it at 5. It's so much nicer.
I know, because my night's over. Well, originally I would say my night's over at 8, but it ends at 9. Oh no, wait, they started at 4, don't they?
Oh yeah, 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, that's right, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, so so then my night's over at 8.
Yeah, honestly,
which is great, and not 11. Look, I remember being on the East Coast and watching all that stuff till 11 o'clock with you. Come on,
you remember living out here?
I do vaguely. It sometimes it feels like a bad dream.
Aww. I'd move back to Brooklyn in a heartbeat if I could.
And then we record these podcasts, and it all comes screaming back.
But yeah, no. Otherwise, this week was good for me. This week picked up some new games, which I'll talk about in a moment. Have you played any of the games you picked up at SoCal?
Of course not.
Good man.
Well, the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo was fantastic. Like I recapped on the last week's podcast. But the problem will always be, it's like I love adding games to my collection, and I have good intentions in terms of wanting to play them, but then the work week starts. And then when the work week starts, you just focus on work. And when your commute is an hour and a half long and you get home at 8 o'clock, you're not putting in a video game. You're basically eating food and going to bed.
Is mind-numbing. Because look, if you took the train, that's one thing. But, public transportation out there is not the same like it is out here in New York. But, I mean...
No, I know, because if I took the train, I could game on the train, and that would be awesome.
That's true.
But public transportation here isn't, it's not the well-oiled machine that it is in New York. So
listen, nowhere. Maybe London is the only other really good you know what I mean, subway system other than New York City. So
Yeah, I need. You know what I need? I'm just gonna buy a self-driving car, and then I can just sit in. Then I'll just sit in there and game.
Jeeves, drive me somewhere. Okay.
Exactly. I'm like, Jeeves, drive me to work and take the slow road.
We have no
Sir,
choice.
they're all slow roads.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that. But yeah, so no, I did not play any of the games at the SoCal that I picked up at SoCal. However, I did live stream some Super Mario 64.
Yes, you did.
On Friday, which was good. So I'm doing pretty well. I think I'm at 40 or 41 stars. If I remember correctly, you need 60 to beat the game.
I believe
60 or 70?
It's been a minute. I want to say 60.
Yeah, I think it's 60 before you can fight Bowser. So I'm not that far away from actually beating it, and it's going faster than I expected. However, I would like to collect all 120 stars so I can unlock Yoshi.
Yes, and then it gives you like 21 ups or something. It's like all he does.
Yeah, I know that's all he does, but it's just that,
Oh, it's cool.
And it's the whole completionist thing.
Exactly.
So, the same way that I did 999 Moons in Mario Odyssey.
I got to pick that up. I'm getting two new Joy-Con controllers tomorrow.
Very nice. And now I'm working on the second DLC that came out for Breath of the Wild.
I haven't even completed like the third mission.
Oh man, I'm already back up. Like, it's funny because what games did I play all of last year? Well, it was Zelda for 5 months, and then it was Mario for 3, and now I'm back on Zelda. Happy New Year. So yeah, Nintendo's just dominating my time.
Good.
And you know what? And more power to them. I mean, I think the Switch is fantastic. So, but in terms of retro gaming, Mario 64 is pretty much what I'm working on right now.
I have to say, when you were live streaming, it's been a long time since I played Super Mario 64 because I just don't remember that haunted house.
Oh yeah, maybe you never realized it was there.
No, I had to have, because remember, I've gotten all but 1 star, so I've definitely played it, but I just don't.
Yeah,
remember.
no, it was always hiding in that back courtyard in the boo. But for the life of me, like, there was a star that I unlocked on the roof, and I forgot how to get up to the roof, so I don't know how to get up there. Which is frustrating. So
it's got to be a cannon. There's a cannon somewhere.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now I got to find that little pink bomb guy to unlock the cannon. So there are all kinds of stuff when I'm playing Mario 64 that I forgot, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, that, and the other, and I'm like, all right, getting the 120 is definitely going to be harder than I thought. So we may just go to 60 and beat the game and call it a day.
At least for streaming purposes.
For streaming purposes, because I would like to stream something different. January's been Mario 64 month. I'd like to switch over to something else for February.
Yeah, definitely. I again have started to kind of retweak my entertainment center for video gaming. About a month ago maybe, I kind of moved some things around, rearranged the systems, and I got a mix of old and new. Got the Hyperkins, got the classics, PlayStations, Xbox. So I've probably gone through 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 different HDMI splitters because none of them work properly. And it's not that they're broken, they just don't work properly. Like, because the way they switch automatically, because some of the systems have power going to them constantly. Yep. So I'll be in the middle of a game and it switches over to my PS4 because that's the most dominant system apparently that I have. So
yes, that is a problem.
So the disposable income that I do not have, where I buy this stuff and then I just get so frustrated with it, I throw it away. I finally
you should have bought the one I had.
Well, with that, I ended up buying something else. It's basically what I did was I bought because, and this has got to be for future anyone listening, LG, Sony, Westinghouse, all you television makers out there. I don't even know if Westinghouse is still a company. Please make televisions with more than 4 HDMI inputs. Not even for video game players, just in general. I feel like life needs more than 4 HDMI inputs.
No, I think just gamers do.
I don't know about that. But with that, so I bought 3 3-way splitters.
Okay.
So that gives me 9, and so far these things are working. They're not automatically changing, which is good. But, life of just sitting on the couch to turn everything on apparently is over, because I still have to get up and either put a game in or turn the TV on or something, or manually, which I have no problem with, manually switching over to whatever classic system I want. So that's good, but I also bought, because the 2 classics and the 2 Hyperkins that I have all run on USB, which is awesome.
There's only 1 USB per television.
Well, actually, mine has 2, to be fair.
Okay.
But I'm also, again, lazy where I don't want to keep plugging and unplugging. So I bought a 4-way USB port that actually has individual on-off switches.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. A Tola. I bought everything's on Amazon. So that's pretty cool. I mean, granted, I didn't have to really do that and spend the extra money, because when the TV's off, so does the power to the USB ports.
Right.
But in any event, so that's good. That's very convenient. So I got everything technically already plugged in. And I can control it, because they say you really shouldn't, and again, I don't know how true this is. It's in the manual, though. You shouldn't leave the classics plugged in all the time.
Oh, really?
That's what they said. That's what they said in the manual. I don't know why. So that freaked me out a little bit. So I mean, it's only USB. So I used to always unplug it, but now since there's no power.
Yeah, I keep mine plugged in.
Yeah. So.
And I don't know why, because to be honest with you, I haven't had time to play them anyway. But I told you, like, my HDMI splitter, I'll tell you how awesome my HDMI splitter is. One, it has a remote control.
Nice.
So I don't say that. I don't.
That's how I say nice.
No. You say nice, not noise.
Yeah, nice.
This is terrible. No, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Second.
So HDMI splitter. Like, I sat down this morning to play some Breath of the Wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on the Pro controller for the Switch, there's a button. There's a button on there that turns on the system.
Yeah.
Right. So I press that button, turns on my system, turns on my TV, and my splitter goes to the Nintendo.
Oh, man. I wish.
I don't have to move.
I gotta hire someone to walk around and do all that.
I know. So, like, I really like my HDMI splitter. In terms of my, I have one 5 port HDMI splitter, because that's all I need. I don't need more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But my AV splitter,
that's old school AV.
The good old school AV, because, I have all of my systems hooked up, going all the way back to NES, and they're all hooked up in AV. So I have one 8-port AV splitter.
That's like $10.
Whatever, 10 or 20. So I have an 8-port splitter and a 4-port splitter, because I have more than 8 systems. So I've got both of those going, but now I'm actually thinking, and we've talked about this. I think since I went to Las Vegas and did some shopping at Gamers Paradise, that it had me thinking, and also when I was at the expo, it had me thinking that these retro systems, especially the ones from the 80s, I mean, they're 30 years old. Mm-hmm. Okay, granted, they still work, and I'm very grateful that they work and they're awesome. My concern is having them out, using them repeatedly. At what point will they start to crap out? So now I'm starting to think more like a collector, because I do play my retro games, but the odds of me playing all of them are slim to none. So I'm actually, I'm actually in collecting mode. Mm-hmm. But with my consoles, I want my consoles to still function. So now I'm actually contemplating purchasing more of, like, the Hyperkins or the retro bits for the older systems, so that I can take my older systems, put them away, and maintain them.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's what I like about these clones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think there's a great deal of I mean, you can keep your old stuff and not worry about damaging it. Mm-hmm. but you can continue to play your old games on on these new systems that are coming out. And the fact that these new systems that come out, like the Retrobits, the Hyperkins, and so on, most of them play multiple systems. So buying a Retron 5 lets you play NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Sega Master System, I think. And then
there's even
Famicom.
an adapter for that to play even more games.
Right, exactly. So like you can buy one system, hook it up, and then it covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, that Retron 5 comes in HDMI now.
Really?
Yeah, it used to be AV only, but they do have it in HDMI because I saw it at the Retro Expo last week. But also, when you think about that, you buy that one system that plays 5 different consoles. That's 5 consoles that are currently hooked up to my television that I can put away.
Oh, absolutely.
So consolidation is definitely a big thing for me right now, and also maintaining my collections. I think after cataloging all of my video games on collectors and cataloging all my comic books, it made me think about preservation more than anything else. So I will be changing things up shortly in that respect.
All right, fair enough. Sounds. Oh yeah, wait, that is HDMI. I just looked it up right now.
Yeah, I think it's like $190 for the Retron 5.
It's got technically 10 systems.
Well, yeah, because you could play a bunch of handheld too, right?
Yep.
So,
and the
but still,
controller ever.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that as gamers you can decide. Oh no, wait, it's 140.
Still.
Wait, is that the HDMI one or no?
Yeah, I have a feeling it's always been HDMI, to be honest with you.
No. No. I remember specifically that I balked at buying it originally because it was AV.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I'm not sure I want to buy the AV version, but with the
Gotcha.
Yeah, but having the Retron 5 with HDMI, much better.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, yeah. So I guess when you're switching over to collecting video games, it becomes a different mindset in a way. Like there are games that I'm always going to love and I'm always going to play, but then there are games like now when I'm purchasing stuff, I'm really thinking more of adding to my collection than necessarily. This is a game I really want to play. So, yeah, and it becomes interesting that way. Because when I went to the expo, I picked up... I'm trying to think of some of the games I picked up. Like games there were a couple of games in there that I probably wouldn't play, but I picked them up because I didn't have them.
Fair enough.
So yes. So it's cool. It's fun. It's fun. And you know what? I have a great time picking them up. I think they're really cool. How I love buying box covers.
Oh yeah,
when I can get them. I just love box cover art. Used to sell games. I mean, that's just it.
That was the only way you knew how. We talked about that before. Definitely.
Yes, we did.
Speaking of which, just real quick, I just want to mention some of the games that I actually ended up purchasing.
Yes, please do.
Recently, and a little bit of a mix: Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy. So I'm just getting
all right. I can hardly wait. The suspense is killing me. So
let's start first with Game Boy. I picked up this game. I never heard about it before. There's a game. It's available on NES as well. It's called, and I can never pronounce it right, Brewery Fighter Deluxe. I think it's BWRAI Fighter Deluxe. From the company Taxon. And I where are you? I'm trying to... There we go.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's like...
Nice.
Here's the thing. I haven't really got far into it. I just kind of popped in it real quick just to play it, which is cool. It's like apparently like one level's a side scroller, another level is a shooter, a third level maybe a top top down. So it's got a little bit of different genres in it. The Game Boy version, really fun to play. I've been playing it on the Super Game Boy. So I'm now going to put pictures of this up, of course, on all the social media sites.
Yes, you must do that because people can't see what we're doing.
For the NES, this game I picked up, really, this is just pure nostalgia because I remember renting this particular game ad nauseum back in the day. Donkey Kong Classic, which is Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr.
And I believe I have that cartridge as well.
Yeah. And every week I'd rent it, and I just like, I remember when I went to buy it, my buddy was like, well, don't you already like have those cartridges or whatever? I'm like, but this very one, this is what I remember playing all the time as a kid.
If you had that brand new in box, it goes for about $400.
No, I know it's look. I'm not saying this was cheap. This was, I forgot the exact price, but it was, a little more than normal if you bought the game separately.
Very cool.
Also, now I already put it in because
Great to ask.
And
you already laughed.
Yeah, I regret not filming it, but at which I'm going to mention it. We mentioned it before on the East Coast. Game On out in Miller Place in Smithtown. They had It is. I love the place. They have a couple of games that's a mystery game. You don't know what game it is. It's a blank NES cartridge, no label.
They just sell blank NES cartridges.
$5.
Okay.
No. There's a game on here. It's a mystery. You just don't know what you're buying, almost like a grab bag. So
okay. So what did you end up getting?
So I ended up getting. Let me pause because all of a sudden.
Did you figure out what it was?
Yeah, I actually had to put it back in the system. I forgot for a moment. So the mystery cartridge, 2 games in 1, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Ernie's Magic Shapes and Astro Grover.
Wow. That is, yeah. Well, you know what? Well, you know what? Maybe those, maybe it'll teach you how to say the word nice properly.
Well, I say nice just fine. As soon as you went to L.A. and lost your Brooklyn accent.
I still have it.
What?
Wait, did you record that or no? We weren't recording.
That was all recording. Oh, okay. We're
That
still
was
recording now.
Oh, great.
I may edit some of this now, but still.
I think you should. So now that your Sesame Street NES collection is off and running, are you going to get Big Bird Hide and Seek and whatever else they
maybe. Poor Bird. All blue in the movie.
Oh, that was hysterical.
That was sad. So sad. And then, so I bought now this other game I bought, which, my love of Hyperkin, I hate to say it, it's slowly turning into a love-hate relationship. Because I knew it going in, not every cartridge on the NES Hyperkin Retron HD is going to work. I knew that. I've already experienced that. Adventure Island, Paperboy, Indiana Jones. I'm not worried about that one. But I'm starting to come across a little bit more, which is I'm trying to peg if there's a reason, like if I can maybe figure out why some of these games just won't work, period. I had bought, not in this lot, but I bought Bionic Commando, which it works in a regular system. Great game. Tested it, but just I can't get it to work in the Hyperkin. And this other one, which I never heard, but I played when I was at Game On. It's from Square. It's called King's Knight.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
King's Knight. It's this weird vertical scroll. It's like a top-down vertical scroller. It almost looks like Zelda 2, but imagine Zelda 2 as a vertical scroller.
Oh, wow.
Very weird. Very weird. I played it in the store. Very fun. But when I got home, it comes up blank, and it's just bugging me. So I'm trying to... Hopefully I can work on it. Maybe I just got to clean it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to get that one to work. And then 2 Super Nintendo games I picked up. This one, again, for nostalgia purposes. Desert Strike, Return to the Gulf.
Very nice. Is that the one that your dad used to play?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yes.
I love this game. And finally, I picked up, and this is a different game, the original, still a hack, but the original Legend of Zelda Parallel Worlds.
Ooh.
Now, I own Parallel Worlds Remodel as well. The difference is, this is the original hack, Parallel Worlds, which is very difficult to play, apparently. I haven't played it yet. Parallel Worlds Remodel was almost like a hack of a hack that kind of toned the game down as far as difficulty.
Because it was too hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
That's going to be interesting. And then, so those are the games. I also bought, which for any game collector, especially those who are playing the games, I highly recommend to get this product because I have used it already on a couple of games and it actually worked perfectly. Yes, you can use like rubbing alcohol or whatever on the games to clean them because you really should not be blowing into them. But really, you want to get what's called, and I've read about it, Brasso. It is a polishing agent.
Okay.
You can buy it like any hardware store. But it's specifically metal polish, and those connectors are pure brass.
Okay.
So if you use Brasso on it, you get a little bit of elbow grease, depending on how bad the game is. You can pretty much shine those pieces up to good as new, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to get that game working again.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've read about Brasso, and they just happen to sell it at the store. So I'm like, I'm going to pick up a bottle, and they've been in for over 100 years. So I guess they're doing something right with brass cleaning. But I've already experienced and saw the difference and how good this works better than the rubbing alcohol.
All right, cool. I will have to pick up some Brasso.
Actually, I got to admit, he actually sold it as a little bit of a kit at Game On. He sells the Brasso and an actual screwdriver for the special screws on the back of cartridges. So you can undo the cartridge to really get in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I've already done, and I've never opened an NES cartridge before. I mean, I know what's inside of it, which is
it's just a board.
It's like a bag of potato chips. The board takes up like a third of the cartridge, and the rest of it's purely empty.
Just empty. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I kind of got in there and started cleaning away. So that's what I picked up. My haul there at Game On. Unfortunately for Game On, good for them, but I'm gonna have to probably slow down for a little while. So.
Yeah, you've been doing a little too much shopping.
I have, but the collection's getting good. Can't complain. Oh yeah, and then I bought an extra controller for the Hyperkin,
nice.
Retron HD1.
Well, soon you'll be catching up with my collection.
Oh boy, hopefully not too soon.
No, I would hope not, because that's going to cost you a pretty penny. I am currently at, according to my app, my collecting app, I am at 449 games.
Wow, there you go, and that's everything, new, old.
New, all. Ooh, did I put all my new stuff in? I think all my new stuff's in here. Okay. Let me see. Is my Switch in here? Yep, my Switch is in here. Yeah, so everything is about 449. Now, I have more than 449. Like maybe 5 or 10 more than that.
Okay.
The problem I'm having is with my Famicom and Super Famicom games.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the labels are entirely in Japanese, and I don't remember what they are. So,
I do a Google search for that.
Yeah. So until I plug them in, or until I put them in and try playing them, they are mystery cartridges to me.
Fair enough. So good haul, good stuff here on both irons in the last couple of weeks, and we got some gaming expos coming up. So some of this is going to start getting added to it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean I mean it's amazing, and that's another thing. It's amazing how many retro gaming expos there are now. Last weekend I was at SoCal Retro Gaming Expo, but unbeknownst to me, a friend of mine went to the Retro City Festival.
Oh.
Which was also happening here in the Los Angeles area the same weekend.
Oh wow!
So so it was two retro play expos, or expo festival,
battling
whatever
each other 1-on-1.
Yeah, basically. So, but I do like I prefer I do like the one that I went to. Maybe next year I'll go to both.
Okay.
And just retro gamers are going to be representing at every expo moving forward if we can.
Folks, if you're going to be in the Brooklyn area, Saturday, February 17th, 2018, make sure you stop by Aviators Retro Gaming Tournament and Expo. Coming to you from the Aviators Sports and Events Center in Brooklyn, Floyd Bennett Field, 11 to 5. The Retro Gamers, we're actually going to be there, like table and all.
I know. Well, possibly both of us. I'm still trying to figure out travel and see if I can fly in for it, but that would be awesome.
In some way, shape, or form, the Retro Gamers will be there. And then if you're not going to be there physically, you will be there spiritually. I get it, as you will. So coming up, though, check it out, because they actually have the tournament, 5 big games for the tournament: NBA Jam, MLB Slugfest, NFL Blitz, NHL 94, WWF No Mercy. On top of that, there'll be vendors, there'll be talks, there'll be fun, there'll be games, there'll be everything. And again, the Retro Gamers will be there. We're going to be live streaming. We're going to do a live podcast in some way, shape, or form. And you can find it on our link on our Facebook page. But if you buy the tickets through Eventbrite for Aviators Retro Gaming Tournament and Expo, use the promo code RetroGamersPod to save 20% off adult tickets and entry into the tournaments. Again, that's code RetroGamersPod. We hope to see you Saturday, February 17th in Brooklyn for the Aviators Retro Gaming Tournament and Expo. All right, so before we get into our next kind of discussion of choice, so you saw this, you sent it over to me, and I can't stop staring at it. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in a little while. This propaganda, I guess, if you will, out of the Netherlands.
Yes. So, I came across this article online at comicbook.com, and it's just awesome because, back in the 80s, as video games were getting more and more popular. This is post the video game crash. When Nintendo started bringing video gaming back to prominence. There were a lot of companies out there that decided they were going to make bootleg games for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and with the control freaks that Nintendo are, obviously, they didn't want these bootleg games out there. So in the Netherlands, this article that I read talked about how Nintendo would snatch up all of these bootleg games. Obviously, they wouldn't buy them. They would snatch them up, or sue the companies that would make them.
Strong arm.
But then, right, exactly. And then what they would do is they would destroy all of these bootleg games. Now, I don't know if anybody out there knows how you normally destroy a video game or how you would destroy hundreds of video games. Like I would think there's some type of disposal system, the way that you would do how you have like a shredding company will pick up your paper shred, like a paper shredding bin or something like that. You would think there's something of that nature, or an incinerator or something like that to kill all of these bootleg games. But in the Netherlands, Nintendo decided that they were going to get a steamroller and literally throw the games underneath it and then just roll over them.
That really is like personification of the 80s. Steamrolling bootleg low-end copy of video games.
Well, I guess, maybe Nintendo just has a flair for the dramatics. I don't know. Like, really, it's like, this is what will happen if you bootleg bootleg games on the Nintendo, and there's a steamroller rolling over.
I love it.
Yep, and in this article, there's a black and white photo of, two guys emptying a giant box of bootleg games with a steamroller right there that's already rolling over a whole bunch of other ones. So
this This article was pulled. It was from archived photos from a publication in Netherlands Dagblad, which I think could be found. Here we go. Let's see. 3 semesters of German in college. Gamesgeschiedenis.nl.
I'll take your word for that.
I think I got a C. I passed. That's all that matters.
Yep.
The funniest thing, besides the fact that you're right, they're using a steamroller to destroy these games, because then they're just going to end up in the garbage anyway, unless it became permanent part of the street. Now, the funniest thing about this photo, this article, is the mascot. Someone's dressed up as Mario, tossing the games into the street. Looks like something from a Rankin Bass Christmas special. And, it looks like a villain. It's hysterical.
Well, not only that, but besides being in that article, if you go to the Twitter page...
They have a Twitter page?
Well, it's a Twitter page for the whatever that German
Games get Schleidenist?
Yeah, if you go to that Twitter page, there's a photo. There are more photos, and it shows
Look at this.
It shows Mario stomping on these bootleg Game Boy games before the steamroller rolls over.
Look how close he is too. Wow, Mario is hating.
Well, I mean, of course he's hating. This is stolen property. It's like he was being stolen.
Okay.
by all these bootleg companies.
So let's actually update this just a little bit. Not just the 80s. There's Game Boy games in here.
There are Game Boy games in here. These photos are from 1994.
Yeah, September 15th, 1994.
Yep.
Actually, it looks like it was all Game Boy games. But still, that is hysterical.
That's great. I just Mario stomping on them right before the steamroller is going over them is just that's just a beautiful image.
We're gonna put a link up. If you go to the third picture on that Twitter, Mario is standing there. He's a stocky. It's not the Mario we know. It's you know what?
It's the Netherlands Mario.
The costume should have went under the steamroller as well if they're trying to get rid of bootleg stuff. Even though this is a legit Nintendo location, like Mario's standing there, his hands behind his back, just checking everything out. I hate to say it, it looks like something from a Nazi camp with him just standing there.
Oh man, it's so bad.
Oh my God! And then the article. Oh my God! Spellen verplitterd door Stumwas. I don't know what that means.
Very nice.
But Mario actually he's got a grimace on his face. He's mad. I've never seen Mario pissed.
Well, you know what? I mean, even video game characters get mad sometimes.
That is fantastic. Oh my God. I love how I wonder if that steamroller was actually moving when he went to kick it.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like his hand is on it in the photo.
Yeah, right.
He's like using it. He's just using it for support as he's stomping these bootleg Game Boy games.
That's fantastic. You know what?
Absolutely brilliant.
I'm giving them a follow. Alrighty.
But so that was just a great article. But now that apparently thanks to Gamegescheideness or whatever it is, it's taking us down memory lane. I think it's a good segue into our next topic, which we wanted to talk about. Larry had brought up in the last segment how he picked up Desert Strike for the Super Nintendo, which was a game that his dad used to love playing. Mm-hmm. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about, gaming with your family when you were a kid. Because I know, for me personally, it all went back to the Atari. And I remember when the Atari 2600 came into my house, I was like maybe, 5 or 6 years old, and I was so excited about it. And then it got to a point where I had a hard time playing because I couldn't get my parents off the damn machine.
I'm an only child, so it was just me. My parents did it once, and they did it correctly. So,
right, yeah, you might want to look at it that way, sure.
Well, it reminds me every day that it wasn't just once. So again, only child. My mom never really played video games. She never really got into them. Actually, for some strange reason, she's not even crazy about cartoons. But that's a whole other topic. But my dad, he would play, not religiously, but there was a good 3 or 4 games that he would play often. I know you have great stories. You've told me in the past about you and your sisters and your parents actually playing games together, where my dad more kind of commandeered my Nintendo and my Super Nintendo when he wanted to play because it was only in my bedroom, which is fine because it's not like I really had much of a choice. So, but on my end, he played, like you mentioned, Desert Strike, Return to the Gulf, which is a great game into itself. I actually can't wait to pick it up and start really playing it again. But he also played, which looking back on it now, I'm wondering if it was almost like a precursor to the tests that were done, which I'll explain in a moment. He loved Dr. Mario. Absolutely loved Dr. Mario.
Which is understandable. It's a great game.
Great game. You're exactly right. But, just, I don't know, for... look, well, he's always going to be older. He's my father. But, for someone older, especially back then, because if you think about it, let's go back 30 years, right? 30-something-year-olds, almost 40-something-year-olds, God help me, why did I just say that? Almost 40-something-year-olds 30 years ago, they weren't really...
It's true.
I know. They weren't, they weren't playing games. They weren't into comic books. They weren't into the stuff that we're into. They were... And I don't mean this don't take it derogatory because I don't mean it that way. But, a lot of us kind of have like almost like a Peter Pan syndrome? I know I do. Don't want to grow up.
I always do.
Yeah. But like how we, not just me and you, Ant, but society, our age, love comic books, love video games. You know, we still love that stuff we used to do as a kid. But 30 years ago, our age bracket, married, kids, because that was the goal. That was the focus. It's not the focus today. So to see someone who, you know, my father was late 30s. He probably even would have been early 40s at that point because he's about 9-10 years older than me. No, he's about 30-something years older than me.
What,
I know. I can't do the math.
10 years older than you.
He's 9 or 10 years older than my mother. So he was like, I don't know. I think it was like.
How did you pass math in school?
I barely did. Bro, I spent the money on the calculus regents just to get an automatic 95 on the final. That's all. I don't know. Do the math. I'm 37. He's 70. So, you know, figure it out from there. Anyway.
I don't need to.
So it wasn't popular for that age bracket to like video games, I think. But he enjoyed Dr. Mario. And the reason why I find that extremely interesting nowadays is because, and I hope I'm not overstepping my boundaries, but there have been tests conducted with Dr. Mario, especially actually really with Tetris, but Dr. Mario plays like Tetris, for to help those suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And my dad, proud veteran, proud Vietnam veteran too. He did his year and a day in Vietnam, and he never regrets it. But he has lingering effects from Vietnam, which one of which is PTSD. And when I look back growing up, I can actually see that. Like it wasn't until maybe the last few years where he actually was officially diagnosed with it. But it's funny, I can kind of see it growing up. But with him playing Dr. Mario, I feel like that was almost, without him knowing it, that was his therapy. Because of the popular and very true studies done with Tetris and PTSD. And of course, PTSD is not just war. It's mostly related to war in the military because of, God help us, I can never imagine what they've gone through, what my dad's gone through. But it can happen. PTSD is anything, you know, from a hurricane, from a natural disaster, from something tragically happening in your personal life. Yeah, I think looking back on it, well, as much as Desert Strike probably added to the PTSD, I think Dr. Mario then kind of offset that. And I think, yeah, like I said, kind of his own therapy without anybody knowing it. But that was him. And he also played.
So when he commandeered your system, it was actually, you know, for therapy. It wasn't because he just wanted to play.
Yeah, well, when we think about it now, probably yeah. Even though I'm sitting there going, "Can I play?" You know, he's just kind of look at me. You know, what am I going to do? Nothing. So just going to sit there and wait my turn in my own room. But that's yeah, right. Those are the games I remember him playing. And there was another one, Super Battle Tank. Again, another war game that he was good at. And Jeopardy.
Doesn't surprise me that he's good at war games.
Oh yeah. Oh, fantastic. And Jeopardy. We played Jeopardy on the Commodore 64.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I used to play Jeopardy on the Commodore also.
I don't know why I was playing a regular game of Jeopardy. I got none of the answers right. So
I know, you know, I was surprised. Well, I mean, I don't remember if I was any good at it on Commodore, but you know, as the years have gone on, I've gotten better at Jeopardy, of course. I actually bought it for the PS. I bought it for the PS4 while my mom was here, and I
really
beat the pants off. I'm just really good at Jeopardy.
Don't even get me started with you and Wheel of Fortune.
Oh my God, Wheel of Fortune's the best.
It's ridiculous.
I will. There is one T I'd like to solve.
Honestly. All right, let's start the game. All right, you know, I'll take a Z. All right, one Z. You know, Zootopia. Ding, ding, ding. What?
Ding, me. That's me. That's me when I play Wheel of Fortune. I love it.
That's why you can never be on the show.
I know, because they actually won't take people on the show that are too good.
You have to dumb it down.
I'd have to show up. I'd be like,
What show was it when it was like Santa Fe Train, but the answer was Santa Fe Trail? It was like either like Golden Girls or 227 or something like that. Like someone was on Wheel of Fortune and all the letters were open except for the last one.
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe it was 227. I don't know. But getting back to games with the family. I have a lot of instances of this because Like I said, when I got my Atari 2600, I was very, obviously I was very excited as a kid. It's like, oh, video games, what are these things? Oh my God, they're awesome. But I remember my dad and my mom constantly trying to top each other in asteroids.
Wow. Okay.
And I remember there was a little, we had a TV, and it was interesting too because we had a TV in the living room, but then we had this small TV that we had set up in the corner of our dining room, and it only had the Atari hooked up to it.
Was your dining room always set up the way I remember it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just trying to visualize it myself. So.
Yeah, so it was in the corner near, like, because on the far end of the dining room there was a window on the left and the air conditioner on the right, and then there was a little spot in the corner, and it was in that corner that we had a small TV. I don't remember if it was black and white or color, but we had a small TV with the Atari hooked up, and I just remember back and forth. When both my parents were home, just trying to beat each other's score at asteroids. And I used to laugh. I mean, back then I didn't think anything of it. All I thought of was, I want to play. And thankfully, when the NES came out, I was like, well, you know what? You guys keep your Atari. I'm set.
Look at this newfangled machine. 8-bit, people.
Exactly. So I got to graduate to 8-bit, and then Tetris came out, and the fighting. Yep, and fighting started all over again. But I just remember that I remember my mom and dad both loving asteroids. My dad was obsessed with Missile Command, which was another game that I actually love. Missile Command. I thought that was a great game. I know you despise it.
Not a fan. Yeah. Not saying it's a bad game. I just don't like it personally.
No, I know you don't, and you're wrong. But Missile Command, Missile Command was just always fun. Berserk was another one that we all played in the house. I remember my sister playing it too all the time. It's a shame that they couldn't get the sound bits in there from the arcade because they couldn't transfer that to the 600 cartridge. But Berserk was another game where it's like it was just super fun to play. That stupid bouncing smiley face that would pop up on the board if you took too long. Used to drive me nuts because he would always catch me. And then when you blew up, it wasn't even like when you died, it wasn't like you just disappeared or something like that. It was like you got electrocuted on the damn screen. Yeah. So I was like, we're just gonna torture you as you die. But that was a great game. But I remember a lot of family stuff with that. And then moving over to the NES, like I said, Tetris was a household game. Everybody in the house played it. Everybody wanted the high score. I was the one who always had it. I was the only one who could get past, I think, level 6 or 7. Like, my family would die out somewhere around 6 or 7. I would get to, like, level 12 or 13.
There you go.
Well, I mean, once you hit level 9, that sucker is so fast.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's so hard. Like, I've seen YouTube videos where people are on, like, level 20 and 21, and I'm like, I have no idea how you did that.
Have you ever seen, like, the championship tournaments?
It's insane.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I don't know how people... Yeah, I don't know how they compute it that fast. But it's just amazing. And then, what was the other game I was thinking of? My sister and I. My sister and I always loved playing Anticipation.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, because it was like it was a video game / board game kind of thing.
Like win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, exactly. Which I also had on the NES.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean. My game show love goes all the way back to when I was a kid, and we talk about game shows all the time because we're big fans. I've been on several. I actually just submitted an application for one yesterday.
Did you really?
Yep. It's been like 10 years since it's been 10 years since I've been a contestant on a game show. So I'm overdue, man. I am long overdue. It's time for me to get back out there.
Can't hear about that one.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. If I make it, I'll let you know.
All right.
So Anticipation was like, well, no, I'm sorry, skipping over that. But I've loved game shows ever since I was a kid. So like when all the other kids were buying like Metal Gear and Double Dragon and stuff like that, which I did buy also, but I was always asking I wanted Classic Concentration, I wanted Win, Lose, or Draw. I wanted Wheel of Fortune. Like, I wanted all the game show games that were on the NES. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, I had them. I'm trying to think of other game show games that were actually on there, and that's also why like I wound up like I was very fond of games like Casino Kid, which was poker and blackjack. Now, an 8-year-old playing poker and blackjack, maybe not the wisest thing, or a 10-year-old, not the wisest thing to start off with, but still, it's just the gaming aspect of it that I loved.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, those were the ultimate family games on the Nintendo system. When you play like Super Mario Brothers, you're alternating turns or something like that. But when you play games like Anticipation, Win, Lose, or Draw, Jeopardy, stuff like that, it's like you're all playing at the same time and you're playing against each other. So it was a lot more fun that way. I think it started to, at least in my family, I feel like it started to fade away when Super Nintendo and Genesis came out. And that was probably a combination of things. One, the systems moved up to my room because I got my own TV in there.
There you go.
And then two, I was hitting the teenage years and everybody needed to leave me alone. So, and everything became more one player for me because then you got your Sonics and your Super Mario World.
Yeah, there were a lot of one player games.
Yeah, there were a huge number of one player games when you got there. And then and then when Mario Kart hit, the dynamic changed yet again.
Yeah, it came back, yeah.
Mario Kart was invented, and all of a sudden, playing with your siblings is a lot more fun because you get to humiliate them by beating them in go-kart racing and in the battle mode, which I absolutely love.
Battle mode, epic. There was, it's shame on me. We talked about family. I just think immediate family. My cousins, we used to play Blades of Steel religiously.
Yes. Blades of Steel, awesome game.
My cousins, Jamie and Brienne. And, I'm dying to kind of – I have it on the virtual console, and I really want to kind of – the Wii's a bit – but Wii U's a bit portable. I just want to bring it over their house because, with my godson now and his brother, kind of be like, look, these are the games that I played with your mother and with your aunt when we were your age and stuff like that, just to kind of see how they would react to it because they've been taking good to classic games. But, yeah, Blades of Steel – the three of us would just play every time I went over their house. They're the ones who owned it. I didn't even own it. They owned it. It was great.
Sports games didn't go over well with the fam. I think maybe more Olympic stuff. Like I remember us playing like Winter Olympic games, track and those kinds of games, but not necessarily sports games. Sports games were with friends, like last year at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo when I beat the pants off of Charlie
in Blades of Steel.
Yeah, I think I won. I won like 17 to 6.
That was an epic booty kick. That was.
Yeah, Charlie, no hard feelings. I hope it's been several months.
I think Charlie's feeling better. Don't worry, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yes, I know. He's definitely feeling better. But yeah, I mean. But just getting back to the family stuff. Family. I'm fortunate enough to say that I was able to video game with my family, which was cool. And so to a certain degree. And even now, like when my mom has an Xbox 360. I got her one.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I got her one years ago for Christmas because she she's not a gamer per se, but like. She'll play, like the Hasbro game nights.
I was gonna say, there's enough games on the 360 that
so like
casual.
when I come to New York to visit, she'll turn on the 360 and we'll take turns playing Yahtzee or Boggle,
awesome,
or Scrabble. We're both Scrabble nuts, so we'll play Scrabble against each other. And it's just there are games for everybody. When she came to visit in December. We did some Christmas shopping, and I found Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. It was a 2-pack on PlayStation 4.
Okay.
It was on sale for like $20, so I picked it up. And we played Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy while she was here. I mean, it's just really cool to it's really cool to know that even now we're both adults and sharing with. We still have no problem, picking up a game and playing. My sister has the SNES Classic.
Yes.
The SNES Classic, right?
Yep.
She's playing Super Mario Kart with her kids.
Oh, really?
And and they're loving it because I gave my nephew the SNES Classic for his birthday in October.
Mhm.
And now, him and his little sister are playing Mario Kart, but then, my sister, their mother, will sit down and play with him as well because, she used to play it as a kid when we were kids. So it's just really cool that I guess I can say, like, my generation, at least, obviously because video games started when we were kids, that this, the gaming aspect has now become, pretty much a tradition in my family. So now it's being passed down, which is kind of cool.
You see it with your niece and nephew. I see it with my godson and his brother. And even with some of our friends' kids, seeing that as well with games, and not only just games, just anything that we kind of grew up with, whether it be Star Wars, wrestling games, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So what was it like playing the Virtual Boy with your cousins?
I will one day introduce them. Well, he's a little too young, I think, to play the Virtual Boy.
He's a little too young to experience seizures.
His eyes, there has to be
through the eyes of the Virtual Boy.
Listen, even a 3DS, they recommend 6 and older to play the 3D. So,
yeah, you know why they recommend that? Because it's not good for you, and yet they made an entire system for it.
That system rules. Okay, both of them did.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so that's why everybody owns it, right? That's why it's the best-selling console of all time.
Well, gaming with the family really brings a lot of people together. It rips friends apart, apparently. And
only the Virtual Boy ruins friendships.
So let us know.
Hashtag VB sucks.
Let us know. On the Facebook page, facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, games that you and your family grew up playing, games you play with your family now. Those of you who have, started a family, especially with the young ones. Post it on the page. Let us hear about it. Let us hear you. And see what else we have happening with gaming with the family.
All right, Larry. So since we were talking about games that we played with family, and it seemed to somehow segue into our love for game shows also, I thought I would do a Did You Know for one of the games I used to play most frequently with my sister, which was Anticipation, and we talked about that.
Okay.
And I actually live streamed it not too long ago as well. I don't know if you remember that.
I sure do.
Yep. So, however, this is something I actually did not know about the game. But did you know that there is a secret gray puzzle in the game?
Really?
Yeah. Now, on the 3rd and 4th levels of the game, there's a gray square. And when you fall on the gray square, it would lift your character up in the air and you would spin around the board. It allowed you to press a button and land on one of the other colors.
Like a randomizer.
Right. It was it was basically a randomizer. However, did you know that if you repeatedly pressed A or B when you were on this gray square, you would be sucked into the gray square and it would access a gray puzzle?
Really?
And the category for the gray puzzle was weapons.
Ooh, interesting.
So it makes me want to fire up Anticipation again just to play it because I did not know this existed. And that is this week's Did You Know?
All right. Time to land.
Well, Larry, just like the Virtual Boy, I'm ready for this to be over.
Yep. No, it was another good week. Good stuff. Good haul, I think, happened here with me.
Yeah, no, you bought some good stuff, and next time I visit New York, I have to check out this Game On place.
Yes, absolutely.
And
we'll be in Brooklyn.
One day when you come out to L.A.
Soon.
Which is never. Yeah, I know. Royal Rumble's going to be in Phoenix next year. Close enough.
Man. Holy cow, in a baseball stadium.
I'm probably going to go, just so you know.
Okay.
Right
good to know.
Anyway, next time you come to L.A., you can check out some of the places here.
Yes.
Actually, I would love to meet you in Vegas so we can go to the Pinball Hall of Fame and Gamers Paradise.
That'd be dangerous.
That would be awesome. Dangerous, but fun. We've done it once before.
Danger's my middle name. We definitely will. We got, that's the perils of East Coast, West Coast. One of us being able to rack up the frequent flyer miles.
Well, some of us have a job that lets him.
But don't worry. So, but when we do get together, that is special. And yes, I do plan on getting out to the West Coast to get together and check out some stuff there because they definitely have some great gaming stores out there. Like you mentioned, Vegas, not far, so we can check that out as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, this week, good stuff. Anything planned for the weekend here?
No, actually, I don't have much planned this weekend. I'm hoping that I can get some gaming in. I purposely left the weekend open because I was sick last weekend. I'm still recuperating. I'm actually still recuperating a little bit. So I would like to sit on my recliner as much as possible. There is a Barnes & Noble trip happening today.
Bookworm. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm sorry. There's something about the good old brick and mortar bookstores that I still love, even though there's pretty much only one left.
Yeah, they turn it into like Blockbusters. Even one of those is closing soon in Alaska.
Oh wow, yeah, and there are still some left in like Texas and places. So
really?
Like Blockbusters, yeah, there are still Blockbusters in the world, just not in most major metropolitan cities.
Thanks, Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix, you ruin everything.
All right, so with
I
that, Netflix, give me a free month. And with that, we're going to start wrapping it up here. And as always, check us out everywhere: Facebook, Instagram. Listen to us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Amazon Alexa, and most importantly, Charlie, this one's for you. We have merchandise, and now we have hashtag VB Sucks merchandise.
Woohoo!
It was very difficult to put that on.
I would like to take full credit for that. Thank you very much. I take full credit for inventing it, and then I give tons of credit to Charlie for keeping it alive.
Boy, did
constantly.
he ever!
Oh yeah, he did. And now hashtag VB Sucks can be worn on T-shirts and showcased on your mugs.
Absolutely. So there are, we also revamped the shop inside a little bit. We got some new colors for T-shirts. We got a couple new items. When they come back available, the leggings will be available. And
and you will be wearing them, right?
If we get $100 worth of merchandise, that's not bought by either me or you.
Okay, I will make some calls. Anybody listening, this needs to happen.
So we got two URLs. Of course, you can find the links on our Facebook page, but there are two. We had to tweak the URLs a little bit, but it's nothing major. Both of them are going to be pro.tchip.com. Actually, just go there, do a search for Retro Gamers or VB Sucks. SUX.
No. What I love about it now is that you have to say it.
Oh, I'm waiting for T-Chip to come back. But I'm sorry, we can't use that word.
Why? It has an X.
So you can go to pro.tchip.com/retrogamerspod. No. Pro.tchip.com/ You know what? Find the links on our Facebook page. I know the other one is pro.tchip.com/VBSucks. That one I know works. I can't remember.
Well, yes.
It's either the Retro Gamers Podcast or Retro Gamers Podcast.
What am I going to do with you, Larry?
Find the links. With that, thank you for joining us this week as we truck along here. And tune in next week to the Retro Gamers. Catch y'all later.